So not only has this hired killer made sure you visited your mother on time as always, don't worry about his schedule, he's just killing people. And he not only does that, he buys your mother flowers.
You are listening to the Real Anime Podcast with myself, Lewis, and Mohnish over here. And no, this is not sponsored by Lipton, but this is a cool cup I got from someplace in Kajang the other day, and it's amazing. We're talking about Collateral, directed by Michael Mann, starring Tom Cruise, Jamie Foxx, a bit of Jason Statham, and if you like the show The Rookie, you can see 5 minutes of Richard Jones playing as a police officer. We're going to be talking about this film. By the way, it's my first time watching a Michael Mann film, believe it or not.
I think this film had some phenomenal cameo characters, or rather supporting characters. Mark Ruffalo playing the detective, and of course the possible English language debut for one Javier Bardem, who would go on to become the Oscar-winning Javier Bardem that we all know.
Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx. Now, we know Tom Cruise as this action guy. Mission Impossible, you already know. Everyone knows Tom Cruise. If you don't, you take a cruise, then you get to know Tom Cruise. And Jamie Foxx also, he's more known to be like a comedy guy, right? And if you have not watched this film before, and I tell you Jamie Foxx is doing he's taking on a serious character as Max in this film, I think you'll probably be laughing your head off, right? This film really questions about how you mention the good and bad in these two characters. How do you think these two characters balance out the good and the bad?
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, Jamie Foxx in serious roles has always been such an interesting curveball for the industry, seemingly. You know, in the same year, he also came out with the performance Ray in the film Ray, and when he played Ray Charles and ended up winning the Oscar that he did not win for Collateral. So he was nominated for an Oscar for Collateral, I believe.
He was, yeah.
And then he won his Oscar for Ray Charles, his performance as Ray Charles in the film Ray, that also came out in 2004. So talk about a big year. And both roles are serious roles. You know, of course, Jamie Foxx is singing in Ray, so that may have tipped it over the edge. But back to Collateral, Max and Vincent are obviously the two people we pay the most attention to, and we feel like this is such a film that feels like it should be experienced in a very viscerally important way. Like, Max and Vincent are the type of characters that are just reflective of the everyday people we see. You know, of course, Vincent is a hitman, but he dressed like a businessman. And dare I say, he operates like a businessman.
Agent 47.
Well, Agent 47 has a shinier hit, but also Tom Cruise, I will say, you know, Vincent, he operates like a regular businessman in a lot of ways. Not only in how he dresses and stuff, but I think like the whole shtick with him basically going around completing one mission after another throughout the night, it's almost akin to like a businessman going around doing regular deals. You know, like it's like, okay, I'm going to go to this bar, I'm going to close a deal at this jazz club, and then after that, I'm going to go to a club and close that deal over there too, you know, and it feels the same. Even though obviously he's killing people, but it feels like that's what his character is meant to represent, someone constantly on the move and career focused, right? And then you have Max, who's a little bit of a dreamer, and dreams are fine, but he clearly also suffers from a lot of delusion. You know, he suffers from a lot of self-delusion specifically, because he has it in his head when he's talking about his business, where Max has this thing telling certain customers about he wants to do a business called Island Limos, where he runs a limo company, a luxury limo company on an island, I believe, and he basically is the big boss. And it's a lovely dream, actually. It's a very beautiful dream. And he makes it a point to tell this customer, who is played by Jada Pinkett Smith, and ends up being a love interest for Max later on in the film, and also throughout the film, actually. And it's almost like he tells her that, oh, this cab thing is temporary, you know? And he tells the same thing to Vincent, almost like he needs them to believe it. And then Vincent goes, how long have you been doing this? And then Max goes, exactly. And he's like, 12 years is not temporary, dude. I finished primary school in 12 years. And secondary school.
You scared me for a moment when you took 12 years to complete primary school.
In fact,
that's
insane. I was there at 13 years old. I know. And it's like, yeah, you scared the shit out of Lewis. It's like I was there at 13 years old in standard 1 going,
give me a moment.
I know.
This one.
Don't do that. Oh my god. Yeah, well, back to Collateral. Okay, so the good and the bad, right? The bad is obviously that Max has really just fallen into this delusion, you know, this self-delusion. You know, it's okay to dream something, but the way he's going is fully fucking delusional. No offense to Max. And then he needs someone like Vincent, who who has to kills people for a living to literally be like, bro, you need to chase your dreams, bro. Like, it's actually the funniest thing, because I'm working on a video essay on Collateral right now, and the thing is, the funniest thing is I described them in the video essay as a big brother and little brother. Vincent is the big brother and Max is the little brother, because Max is like, oh no, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, but I'm going to be that, I'm going to be that, I'm going to be that. How long have you been doing this? 12 years. And Vincent is like, oi, wake up. What do you mean 12 years? You grew up in those 12 years. And then like Vincent meets his mom in the film, and I thought that was a fantastic moment. That was borderline comedy from Michael Mann right there, because he's like, they go into the hospital, and it's and basically Max pays Vincent throughout the film. As you all know, he pays Vincent an absurd amount of money to drive him around for the whole night so he can complete his missions, aka his contracts. And throughout that, Max goes, oh, I visit my mother every night. And Vincent's like, oh, you're not going to miss tonight either. And Vincent's like a surprisingly caring character sometimes. He's like, oh, you have to see your mother. Oh, we better go. Don't worry about me. Okay, I can kill them later anyway. My schedule, don't worry.
I have to see my mummy first.
Yeah, but then after that, we can go kill that fella. And so they make it to...
Next gangster film for me.
There you go. And like Vincent and Max actually visit the hospital, and Max normally doesn't even buy like flowers, and Vincent's like, she carried you in her womb for 9 months, you buy her flowers. So not only has this hired killer made sure you visited your mother on time as always, don't worry about his schedule, he's just killing people, and he not only does that, he buys your mother flowers. And not only that, when they go to the hospital room, Vincent is super polite and even and talks to the mother, becomes friends with the mother, jokes around with the mother. They're all very relaxed, very chill. And then Max has to ruin the moment by stealing Vincent's briefcase and running out, and Vincent beats the shit out of him so he can learn not to take Big Brother's things. But anyway, there's that that actually precedes the moment where Max actually becomes Vincent for a while, where he goes to this club. And so what basically happens is Vincent loses all of his details on like who to kill, because Max flings his briefcase across the road, and so they have to recover it and stuff. And Vincent is like pretending to be Max, repeating his dialogue exactly the way Tom Cruise said it. He's repeating it. And I feel that's where the good and the bad comes in, right? Because you feel like, oh, he's doing this because he thinks Vincent is the right thing to emulate, right? Because obviously this is Vincent's world. You should emulate Vincent if you want to survive. And, Vincent probably doesn't notice that Max has a lot more to him than meets the eye. He's not just some cabbie with a bunch of delusions, right? And I think that's where the good and the bad comes in, because Vincent and Max are equally problematic people.
Yeah, I mean, you're right with that. Like, I know I keep on referencing my Letterboxd review, but I did, as my starting point, which you guys will check later, I remember my starting sentences. I put good versus evil, bad or good, something like that. I remember. Later, you guys will see. That's what I thought about this film, right? These two characters especially, because we question ourselves whether we're taking the route of Max as this seen as innocent taxi driver just trying to make a living, maybe supporting his mom, having a business dream, which is normal. Then Vincent over here is like Agent 47, who actually whacks people. If you play the game Hitman 3, you can actually whack people with flowers. So maybe that's how he got the idea from Agent 47. So there you go. It's almost like you have a yin and yang. It's like the contrast of both. But this one, I think, is like the yin and yang, right? Because it's just like, who do we follow? It's like the thing that we have to ask ourselves for this. And that brings me to my next question about this. It's actually not the two characters, but we're going to talk about Mr. Michael Mann himself. Now, when watching this film, in your opinion, what do you think that he wants us to feel when watching this film?
I mean, Michael Mann really brings a lot of things to the forefront when it comes to this film. He always looks at what is the dominant emotion that the audience should feel. But I feel like the takeaway for me personally is that Vincent played an enormous role in allowing Max to really chase his dreams. I actually feel that this is not really an action thriller in some ways. I feel this is a coming of age film. Max is a teenager. Not really, but in the metaphor, Max is a teenager, and he probably doesn't even want to say hi to this girl that he likes. Probably just wants to keep quiet in school, not do anything stupid. And then Vincent is the big brother who's just like, oh, you don't want to say hi to that girl? Okay. Excuse me, hi, my brother loves you, and if you can go through that embarrassment and come back from a difficult moment that maybe you don't think you'll survive, you might meet the love of your life. You may hate your brother for it in the moment, For sure, but I think he allows it to feel like a coming of age movie, Michael Mann, even with the beautiful style of what he does, because like Michael Mann, for example, the unique thing about Collateral is that it was shot in very high definition digital cameras in 2004, where film was still relatively dominant. And he did this for the night scenes to make the night scenes look incredibly alien and incredibly like unsettling. And I think it comes off. The emotion that he really feels is this unsettling desire to chase your dreams, which is such a conflicting thing to say. But yeah, I just feel incredibly satisfied at the ending. You know what I mean? I think that's the way I'm going to put it. Yeah, it's an incredibly satisfying film to watch by the end of it.
You are right. I mean, this film itself, it leaves you just like wondering, like, you have moments when, like, for example, like, you have Tom Cruise like dominating the entire scene, then you have Jamie Foxx dominating the other scene. It's just like that moments when like the big brother starts to get tested from his little brother in a way, right? I remember in the scene, a good example of the scene itself was towards the ending, right, Mohnish? You remember the bit where they were in the underground in the train. I think in America you call it subway, I guess, but I think it's LA, so let's call it the train. In the train itself.
I love I think a lovely foot long sandwich with you mean the train? Sorry. Malaysia we
Give me a
Malaysia we
moment.
don't go down.
No,
We don't hey.
I drink the 5-in-1.
No.
Neutralizes
Yeah, but
odors, quality fragrance, quick acting.
but actually, Louis, I actually want to transition to one of the questions you wrote, because I think it's actually very good for this discussion.
What is it?
Which is if Max, if you were Max, what would be the first thing you did differently?
Oh, oof. I tell you, this is where Asian parenting comes. This is kind of like what relates to the previous question, what Michael Mann wants us to feel. But I'm going to give you another alternative ending, and it could cut the film by an hour and 20 minutes, I kid you not. Or let's say an hour 30 or an hour 40 or whatnot. The moment when Jamie Foxx is driving the taxi. Sorry, Max. Let's just refer to the character's name. Max is driving the taxi. You remember our Asian mom? If you have Asian parents, obviously I grew, but then obviously my dad's not Asian. Our Asian parents will always say that never ever take random things from a stranger, right? If he did not take the money, this film would have not happened. There's some food for thought for you right there.
Yeah, but he's a cab driver, and someone just offered to give him an unusually large amount of money. If you are in Malaysia, can you confidently say our cab drivers would say no to that?
Now, if you're talking about Malaysia said.
Actually, to be honest with you, I would say anywhere except Japan and Korea
and Singapore
is probably gonna end it. No, they're in there.
Oh, okay, that's it. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, you are right. If you're a guy who's like desperate for money, then for sure you probably do that. But sometimes at the end of the day, you do have some people with common sense, like unless it's.
I mean, I agree with you. The common sense part is very important, but I think we actually watched the behind the scenes documentary of Collateral, Lewis and I. And Lewis, I think you also will remember this. They had a taxi driver supervisor on set to make sure that the taxi driver that was being depicted, that Jamie Foxx's attitude, the way he was driving, not even that, the way he was acting, the way his knowledge was about the area was a legit a legit thing a LA taxi driver would do. So they had one of the most amazing LA taxi drivers there to teach Jamie Foxx the ins and outs, taking him to places like he couldn't even believe this place existed in Los Angeles, and it looked so scary to him. It was basically something of Hantu Kat Lima, and he was like, wow. And then that thing was a part of the documentary, and I think that the thing, it's difficult to argue with a Michael Mann film because he makes all the actors do it for real.
I mean,
so
I don't.
Jamie Foxx, sorry, just before you go on. So Jamie Foxx just feels like a legit LA taxi driver.
You're right about that. I mean, to add on to that point, I remember when reading about it or watching about it, LA is like kind of like described as in my own words, the city of chaos, if you think about it. And believe it or not, I've been to LA before. LA is like, I think based on the documentary, it has over 70 million people, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's close to 20 now or more than that. And when you go to LA, it's like, I'm sure you've been to LA, right, Mohnish? Right? We've both been to LA. I remember going there when I was 12. I can't remember. So my knowledge is not that good. But if you go to LA, you literally make one wrong move on like the motorway or the highway or freeway, Americans call it. Oh, you're lost forever. That's the unexpectedness that you feel like that you experience with LA, right? And for Max himself, go back to the question of Max himself, what would have been done differently for me? I would say that don't accept money, random like money like that, just simply because sometimes this is me. My mom taught me saying that like never ever take things from a stranger because you never know what consequences you get into it. No matter if it's like 1 million ringgit, 1 trillion, 1 billion or whatnot. That's what I would have done differently if I was Max. What about, I don't know, taking the money, or even if you did, do you know when to stop? Let's just say, think of a scenario if let's say you take the money, but then you realize that like this has gone too far. What would you do? Would you maybe give back the money itself and just keep your life, or just go with the flow and end up in the Balai Police? Then you have your family reunion there.
To be honest, when they stopped to refuel in the petrol station, I would have just run into the petrol, like, you know, the place where you can buy food and stuff, and just call the cops from there.
There you go.
To be honest with you, like to be honest, like once you see the first thing, you're literally a witness, you know, and possibly even actually, you know what? Fuck it, I would not have done that. You know why? I would have been an accessory. My cab.
That's true.
Nah. I would just, you know what? Boring answer, but at the same time, it's the right answer. I just don't think I would have changed anything.
Wow. Okay. All right. See.
Actually, the one thing I would have really changed, I don't think it was necessary. Okay, in the character moment, it works really well. In my eyes, I just don't think Max needed to crash the car.
That's true. You're
He could
right.
have driven his ass to a police station and said, Vincent, if you don't check your attitude, you're going to be checking in here till the rest of the time. Instead of going. It's extremely realistic, but it's just
imagine that.
personal.
Imagine if Michael Bay directed it. I think the taxi would just be exploded.
That's the end of the movie. The taxi only kaboom.
Yeah. Then you have the Linkin Park song playing. What I've done. That's yeah.
An even shorter film where the first kill that Vincent makes, and the body drops on Max's vehicle, and he just blows up his vehicle, and then Vincent's looking down with the fire blowing in his eyes, and then after the Linkin Park goes, "What I've done."
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Transformers, like the first one, I still remember Linkin Park was like playing in, I forgot, in the Revenge of the Fallen, I remember that film, New Divide was there, that Transformers film.
Yeah.
It was a good film. But all right, so before we actually go into our Letterboxd review, actually, so because I know everyone's dying here, Mohnish, I have a very tasty question for you. Which character, if let's say you had a choice and you were given, like, maybe let's just take 1 million ringgit or whatnot, which character would you side, Max or Vincent?
No, I would side with Max. I just understand Vincent, that's all.
Okay, why Max?
Well, Max is like you and me, he's the everyday person.
Okay.
Bit more delusional, but everyday person. And also the way it ends, right? You could say Max becomes Vincent permanently sometime in one moment, because he kills Vincent. So if you've taken a life, you do become just like Vincent. Vincent took many lives, of course. He offed Mark Ruffalo like he was such a side. By the way, only Tom Cruise can make Mark Ruffalo look like such an irrelevant side character so quickly. I've never in my life seen such a thing. Like, Mark Ruffalo had this whole build up figuring out the murder, and then suddenly he just goes to the club, kapoom, die. I'm like, oh my god, Michael Mann, you bastard. And also Javier Bardem is a glorified cameo. I understand maybe English at the time was not so easy for him, but wow. But back to Max, I'm just saying, like, Max did kill Vincent and crashed a taxi on a highway/freeway. I mean, he did some shit as well. Vincent may have done most of the shit, but Max isn't exactly entirely innocent anymore. But Max's journey does feel a lot more satisfying and feels like a lot more of a coming of age story, like I said. So yeah, I'd go with Max, but R.I.P. Vincent, I guess. Kind of, maybe.
Yeah, okay. I'll be the same as you. I mean, I can't think of my life as being Vincent. Maybe yes, but minus the killing. But I'd rather be Max.
He's a businessman.
Maybe you could think of him as a businessman. What?
Okay, well, I wouldn't, like, you see that bit you said you'd rather be Max? Okay. I also would rather be Max at the end of the film.
Okay.
I don't want to be Max throughout most of the film.
I get what you mean. I get what you mean. You're right. Because I mean, like, at the start of the film, you see Max as this guy living in Dululu land, thinking like he's gonna open this. Yeah, Dululu land, thinking like, oh, this brother is gonna open up this, like, what is it, island limo thing, have a club in there, blah 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 blah. I mean, everyone has dreams. I have a dream. You have a dream, and our dream is to get to have a collaboration with Kajang Satay. If you're hearing this, please listen to us. And now Lipton, as of today, and all these companies,
you make phenomenal products, guys, and we are incredibly lucky to be using them. But what would be amazing is if we got some sponsorships from you guys, because we really love your products.
100%. But yeah, I mean, that's that's probably my answer. So now, enough of that. Moving on to the juicy bits. Now, we are going to be reading some of your Letterboxd reviews. Now, Mohnish, question for you.
Oh, yes.
Your Letterboxd review. Which one would you like me to read? Because I see the one you have reviewed from 28th of February 2026. Which one do you think is the most maju one?
Which one is longer?
Oh, your 28th February 2026 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
And the other one?
The other one, I only see one review.
Okay, then we use that one review. I know what
Okay.
that review says. I think I know what that review says.
Yeah, okay. So what I'm gonna do is, Mohnish, so I am going...
Is that the review? Sorry. Is that
Yeah.
the review where I talk about Tom Cruise?
Yeah, it's basically the one. Yeah, we'll keep it short and simple. So
I'll explain more.
okay, sure. So why not? I'll send you all the reviews that we're gonna do 3 reviews for today. We can always do another 4th one if one of us maybe pull up like a last minute substitution. And so I've just sent you my review, and guys, for the first time ever, I've actually
please send me all the reviews here because I
Ready.
pop them in. Okay.
I already did.
Really?
And for the first time ever, guys, I actually proofread my Letterboxd reviews.
Woo!
I hope. I actually took my
Absolutely.
time. I took my time. I hope that there is no errors.
Okay,
I'm very good
so
at speaking.
Louis will read my review first lah. Then I'll go
All
to
right.
his.
Okay, guys. So Mohnish Rajakumaran watched this film on 28th of February, but I'm pretty sure he watched it recently. But maybe the letterbox a bit much. Maybe.
Well, no. I mean, I know the film quite well as well. So I've seen it quite.
Okay, so I guess you've probably seen it a handful of times already, probably.
Yeah, imagine logging 5 reviews. You have to read all 5.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay, so he watched this on 28th of February 2026 was his last updated review for this film. Very stunning review. I'll read it to you. The kind of films Tom Cruise should be doing. I agree.
And I stand by that shit. I think, look, I love him in Mission Impossible. I'm glad it's over. That's the way I'll put it. I'm not saying the thing went downhill, even though it kind of did. I just think Tom Cruise is so much better an actor than he is, than he's showing himself to be. And I kind of wish I was alive during the time he was exploring acting. There was a time this guy did Collateral, Magnolia, Eyes Wide Shut. You know, this guy was working with Kubrick. He was working with Michael Mann. Don't even get me started. He was even in the Mission films. He was working with Brian De Palma, I believe. He was working with John Woo. The guy was amazing. So I feel like I want to get back to that Tom Cruise. You know, the guy who was like amazing chameleon that you always recognize. You know, the movie star fellow. But he was not afraid to work with amazing directors and auteurs. That's all. He's an amazing actor, and I wish he was in more authorical films, and I think he will be.
100%. You did mention that his new film is coming out. The trailer just came out as of a few days ago, I remember.
Digger. Yeah, Digger.
Digger. First time he's acting. It's probably the first time he's acting in a comedy film. I don't recall him.
Jerry Maguire.
So that,
even though that's not full comedy, but it is kind of comedy. It definitely is comedy for sure. Show me the money. Show me the money.
All right. So I guess everyone's waiting for my review.
Now, it is my honor today to read this. Okay, Lewis watched Collateral on the 16th of July 2020. Oh, today, okay. 16th of July 2026, and he writes in beautiful detail. Good versus evil. What is right and what is wrong? And the tales of 2 characters in Vincent, played by Tom Cruise, a cold-blooded person, and Mac, played by Jamie Foxx, an ambitious individual. Delusional, but ambitious. It's certainly been a while since I was invested in a film filled with conflict and emotion, not knowing exactly how to feel or react, and it is a credit to the character development in both Max and Vincent. Vincent is not the innocent individual, and Max is portrayed as the innocent one. But one can bring up the argument of the influence of how Vincent may have influenced Max to become the bad guy. The mix of appreciate the film for what it is, questioning which main character we side with, and asking ourselves what definition of right or wrong. And that is Louis. This review very, very powerful. I was literally switching I was switching personalities throughout. So like his review is like Christopher Nolan's upcoming film, man, Odyssey.
Yeah, so I think whilst Mohnish
very highbrow review. Highbrow review.
Yeah, so
yes.
So I mean,
cannot be some Tom, Dick, and Harry and read this. You must be you must be either a film lecturer, Eddie, or maybe perhaps be a journalism lecturer, Roberto. Oh, my cough very bad. This is.
Hold on.
Or maybe
some
Or maybe you can be the referee Buta in the World Cup. Aha! But aside from that, yep, stunning review, Louis.
Yeah,
Stunning.
thank you. So apologies. I think Monish's voice lagged out a bit when he was reading a review, but it's okay. You guys can at least see, like, if you guys watching a video, you have like the picture frame over there to watch the review. And I guess you can tell that Monish thoroughly enjoyed the review. And this is the first time ever in history I actually proofread my work. So I'm very
A
proud of
lesson
myself.
for all your. Actually, this is a great question to ask Louis.
Go ahead.
So, Louis, would you recommend to any other aspiring writers to proofread their work?
1,000 trillion%. I kid you not. That's what I've not been doing.
Why? But just tulis on paper only. What? Very easy, isn't it?
Tulis on paper, but tulis on paper is one thing, but you got to check. It's just like you go to the passport immigration center or whatnot, then you write the wrong name, then before you know it, you get 3 years in jail. Just like how I found out that in today's news, that if you don't change your IC address, you get 3 years prison. I'm not kidding. You could actually check that on the start, but that's some fun fact for you. So that's the reason why you have to check and read the news also and proofread. But nevertheless, when writing this review, I actually did have like a first like draft of this, but the second draft I wanted to make sure I just like follow up on what I wanted to be exact with. And this is a perfect film of like questioning a dilemma and knowing how one individual can influence another. And it begs the question of like, if you were to bring it an argument of how Vincent influenced Max to the guy that he's become, and this could be a podcast on its own on like a good solid argument that we can make a case for that based on some of the moments from the film that we made. But nevertheless, is I think the best, hopefully the best, based on Monish's reading tone, and hopefully soon I could be a film writer.
I mean,
I'm on the way there.
my only comment is this is perfect for film writing and lovely review, but perhaps leave in a few comments there for the regular Joes who might have some,
Yeah, of course. And Umar and Bahir, I'm practicing for you guys. It's been a while.
There you go.
Right. Okay, so I actually put a last minute substitution. So I've actually got 2 more reviews from the public. We do have friends who watch this film, but the problem is they did not put their review. They only put the star in there. So it's a bit pointless to just say like how many stars the fella has give it. So nevertheless, I'm gonna read this review from 5 Local, and then Monish over here, which I just sent to you, Monish, is gonna read this guy odds_211. I guess that's Oz Striker from American Pie, probably. So, oh yes. So 5 Local over here, he watched this film back in 2022 on the 4th of September. Gave this film a 1-star review, no, kidding, a 4.5-star review. He said this, very short and simple: we need more movies of people just talking in cars. Well, you heard it right. Here we go, Fabrizio Romano. That's going to be my next film. Lost. Just kidding. That's another day. But it's something nice about just like listening to conversations in a car. Something nice, something simple. I mean, your favorite film, if I'm not mistaken, is Taxi Driver. If I'm not mistaken, right?
One of.
It's just a simple film, and I personally like it that you could just talk. It's like kind of like really a perfect example showing human connection or human communication. Awang, you better listen, of like how human communication can be done in a car, and how like you have them moments where in the Grab driver, them moments when you just want to tidur, but then this pakcik will just talk to you. It's like, bila nak kahwin ni? Oh ya ke? Pakcik dulu kahwin tahun 70. Lepas tu dapat 10 anak. Lepas tu ada 10 cucu. Dah boleh bawa bola sepak. It's like your everyday sort of like taxi driver sort of conversations, and it's quite nice, I would say. And yeah, Monish.
Yeah, and I will read the review by Oz_211. Very interesting name there. He has rated, or she has rated, Collateral 5 stars. Watched this on the 7th of June 2026, and says that it is one of the best action drama movies I've ever seen. I'd say absolutely cinema. I couldn't agree more, to be honest. I can't remember how many stars I gave in my review, but I know
5.
for sure I did 5 stars. Yeah, there we go. And Lewis also, I believe, 5 stars. Yeah,
5, yes.
I think that's actually a great lesson, because it shows that there's really almost no notes you can give Collateral.
It's a perfect film.
I mean, maybe some people may not like the fact that a taxi driver manages to kill a hitman, but and they'll be like, wait, that doesn't make sense. But sometimes when you're shooting in the dark, you get lucky or unlucky.
Nothing is impossible, guys. So
And
there you go.
also, by the way, guys, they were shooting on a moving train. Takkan lah, their balance would be power.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
yeah. Aside from that, I really think Collateral is, and actually, I want to draw a little bit of attention. I'm actually looking at it now.
Oh, what is it?
Does Collateral's poster look like an action film poster to you? Like, have a look.
Give me a moment. Let me actually check my Google.
I'm looking at the Letterboxd review you sent me, so the poster is
Oh,
there.
okay,
So
okay.
I'm just like,
Let me check.
does it look like an action film to you?
Yeah, I thought it was Night of the Museum, but no, it's actually. It looks like Hitman. It looks like Agent 47, like the Hitman 3 sort of cover.
Yeah, but the gun is also like barely in there. You know what I mean?
That's true.
You
It
can
kind of.
you can see the gun, but the thing is, it's very minimal. Like, there's no action elements there aside from the gun, you know. And I think that's such an interesting choice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. It kind of reminds me of the Hitman 3 covers, actually, which I think, Mohnish, I think you could just put it like one of the Hitman covers in there.
Oh yeah,
Hitman
yeah.
underneath
I
it,
know. I
Hitman,
know.
if you
I
put it in
actually
there.
think I think that's an interesting choice of words, because since Collateral came out in 2004, when did Hitman come out?
Which game? Now Hitman, there are
The oldest one you're talking about.
oldest game. It should. I think the first one is Blood Money, if I'm not mistaken. No.
Okay, fine. We'll talk about Hitman Agent 47 then.
Okay, it's been around ever since the early 2000s, I should say. I think the first game came out in 2000.
I feel like the early 2000s was really the time for Hitman, even in movies and games, huh?
I mean, Hitman 3 is still like a good. I love the game. It's a really good game.
But of course, back to Collateral. What do you think it says about the film that the poster doesn't look like an action film poster?
Very
I think
mysterious.
personally, I think personally, right, this tells us that the film was not meant to be an action film at all, or a thriller film. Of course, you have the gun,
drama,
so that
right?
yeah, exactly. Like, I think this Oz underscore 211 got it right by calling it an action drama. I would actually go thriller drama, but you know what? It's the same difference at this point sometimes.
Yeah, you're right.
Because because the poster looks incredibly poised and it looks like a drama. Just take out the gun and it looks like a drama.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's
Yeah, so
subtly
I
different.
suppose genre within genres then.
Genre 3 for you guys.
Yeah, but Louis, before we end this podcast, I just wanted to ask, what are your expectations for the Odyssey? Are you excited? Are you
Excuse me.
curious?
I mean, I was just reading a review from Suan herself about the Odyssey, and she gave it 5 stars.
I saw that she put a review out. I'm purposely avoiding just because I don't want.
I put 5 stars, but I just skipped. I didn't see exactly what she put. I mean, the Odyssey. All I can say is I can't wait. It seems like a good film. I mean, Christopher Nolan. He's Christopher Nolan. There's no words needed, and you have a good cast of like Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson, also Zendaya, and other people and stuff like that.
Basically, everybody except us who was in the Odyssey lah.
We weren't
But,
there. We were busy that day.
Yeah, yeah, we were busy that day. But next time for sure, like Chris
We'll give
Nolan,
Chris, sir, I think.
sir now, yes, sir,
Sir
not madam.
Christopher.
These days you never.
Yeah.
These days you never know.
But yeah.
But Louis, perhaps you should do a nice little outro for our podcast.
But yes, guys. So maybe that could be our next episode. I gotta watch it in IMAX. That's the only way. If you watch it in 1D, 2D, 3D, I'll come find you, and then I'll bring you with me.
Yeah.
We go watch it in IMAX.
I mean, just to add on to Louis, the only reason we even say you must watch it in IMAX is because this is the first movie shot on 100% IMAX cameras. So the experience, actually, if you watch it in another cinema, is just not going to be worth your money.
I agree. But yeah, I mean, that will probably be maybe our next episode. There's a bit of sneak peek for you guys, depending if I could get a ticket for the film, but that's the story for another game. But yeah, guys, thank you for listening. It's a bit unfortunate football's not coming home, but never mind, we'll wait 2 years later. And I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and thank you for making Mohnish famous, by the way, because obviously you guys have been blowing up in the Instagram section for, some of the films that he's done, and he's a very, very good talker, I must say. Keep it going, guys. Love the work, and we gotta make man famous, right? Yeah, done, no. But yeah, guys, thank you again for listening, watching, or whatever, whether it's morning time, afternoon time, evening time. We appreciate your support, and we will see you for the next episode where we're gonna be talking about Toy Story. Sorry, another episode. But yeah, take care, guys. Goodbye.